the station working for you. This is an RTV6 special report.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino. The coronavirus outbreak continues to impact public services, businesses, and historic events across the world, country, and state. We will get to that shortly, but first, the latest on the toll the virus is taking on Hoosier lives. COVID-19 is responsible for 17 deaths in Indiana. According to the State Department of Health, 645 people have tested positive. More than 4,600 people have been tested across the state. And the United States has reached an unwanted milestone. According to Johns Hopkins University, we are now the country with the most confirmed cases of the coronavirus, more than 85,000.
I'm Mark Mullins. Once again tonight, I'm bringing you the news from my home in an effort to be extra vigilant in this time of social distancing. The temporary change will continue as long as necessary as our company and the country take guidance from health officials. The pandemic led to the cancellation of March Madness. Now the month of May will not be the same. Today, IndyCar and Indianapolis Motor Speedway announced the greatest spectacle in racing is postponed due to the COVID-19 outbreak. The Indy 500 is now scheduled to run on August 23rd. The GMR Grand Prix that was set for May 9th is also postponed to Saturday, July 4th, Brickyard 400 weekend, by the way. At New at 11, RTV6 Sports Director Dave First spoke with one of the IMS officials tasked with making this difficult decision.
And Speedway President Doug Bowles joins us from his office tonight, and we've kind of been waiting for an announcement finally out of the way. A sigh of relief, or what are your thoughts tonight?
Well, I think like most of our fans, it is a sigh of relief, right? I mean, the most important thing is to make sure that we know that we're going to get an opportunity to run the Indianapolis 500. We'd love to have it in May, but we feel pretty good about the date we've landed on in August. It's going to allow us to do two big weekends, a lot of the practice that folks are used to. I'm really excited about moving the GMR Grand Prix to July 4th weekend as part of Brickyard. So I think there's a lot of cool things about it. Would we like to race in May? Absolutely. Are we excited we still get to have the 500? 100%.
Was a flat-out cancellation ever a thought?
You know, from the moment things started kind of falling apart when the NCAA said they were making their decision, the NBA did theirs, and the IndyCar season didn't get started at St. Pete. The one thing I've heard Roger Penske say from the very beginning, the most important thing we can do is make sure that we run the Indianapolis 500 in 2020. That's all we've heard from that moment on, and there was never, ever any conversation about cancellation.
That's certainly good news. And I tell you, the doubleheader July 4th with the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the road course, I think fans have been clamoring for something like this for a while, and everyone's just kind of backed into it. I think it's going to be really cool.
I'm excited. You know, when the first conversation a couple of years ago came up about let's do a NASCAR, IndyCar doubleheader, and all these tracks started raising their hands saying, we want to do it secretly here at the Speedway, we were like, we want to do it here at the Speedway. This isn't the way we envisioned it happening or probably wanted it to happen, but I'm pretty excited about it. I think our fans are going to love it. We've heard a lot already from the NTT IndyCar Series fans who can't wait. And I know the NASCAR drivers and IndyCar drivers get along so well, it's going to be neat to see them interact together throughout the weekend.
The good news at all this, there is a date, and it's now officially 150 days away from the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. Doug Bowles, thank you so much tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for that. Tickets already sold for May will be valid for the new dates. All concerts scheduled for the original Indy 500 weekend are now canceled. Another major musical event that has a huge presence in Indianapolis is also canceled. Drum Corps International is calling off its entire 2020 summer tour. Every August, top marching groups from around the world take part in the DCI World Championships at Lucas Oil Stadium.
And new at 11, IndyGo is now making big changes in response to the outbreak to improve safety as the virus continues to spread. Beginning Sunday, all transit fares will be suspended. Riders will be required to board through the vehicle's rear entrance. Accommodations for people in need of the wheelchair accessible ramp will continue to be made at the front door. The Saturday schedule will be in effect Monday through Saturday. Sunday service will stay the same, and Open Door will limit capacity to one rider per row.
Governor Holcomb's stay-at-home order is causing some confusion for some about who is allowed to be on the roads. And that confusion may include police officers who have reportedly been pulling people over. RTV6's Cameron Riddle shows you what the order really says and how law enforcement is now setting the record straight.
It is certainly an interesting time. Some days feel like the plot of a movie where police are forcing people to stay in their homes or face fines or jail time. Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter says that idea is not supposed to be happening in Indiana.
There is no need for you to carry a document with you, nor can a law enforcement officer stop you simply to say, what are you doing out here? That cannot happen in the state of Indiana.
While the governor's stay-at-home order is indeed an order, it does not restrict Hoosiers from leaving their homes to go on walks, to get fresh air, or to make essential trips, like going to work or to get groceries. Carter says he's making that clear to residents and police agencies at the state, county, and city level. But that's not stopped him from hearing reports about Hoosiers who have been pulled over.
I had 9 directly reported to me yesterday, and of those 9, I've not been able to substantiate any of them yet. And they ranged from I was stopped and told that I'd be charged $500 or there'd be a fee associated if I continue to be out without some type of a document. That is not true.
Carter says he's following up on those reports, checking with the resident and the police department.
If someone does feel like they've been targeted, they need to report that. And I would strongly recommend that occurs. This has been a real issue of concern to so many of our citizens around this great state, and we'll continue to lean into that as much as we can.
As the stay-at-home order continues, Carter is hoping to put rumors to rest.
There is no need in Indiana, anywhere in Indiana, in any city, any county in Indiana where you have to have a document explaining that you're essential or not. I hope in America we never get to that point.
Working for you in Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And the mayor of Carmel is also clarifying part of the governor's stay-at-home order and adding additional restrictions in the city. Carmel is reminding residents playgrounds, tennis courts, basketball courts, and similar activity areas are closed. According to a news release from the city, this is under the state's order. Mayor Jim Brainerd is taking things a step further, ordering golf courses in Carmel to close as well because golfers are touching flags, golf balls, and using carts. The mayor is also asking the city's bike share operator to suspend the program for now since bikes cannot be disinfected after every ride.
A reminder from the State Health Commissioner, Dr. Christina Bach. She wants long-term care facilities to have a plan when it comes to treating COVID-19 positive patients if their symptoms are not severe.
This taxes our healthcare system and unnecessarily exposes healthcare workers and others to this virus. We need every facility to have a firm plan in place about how they will handle COVID-19 cases so that we can reduce the spread of infection and preserve our hospital beds and healthcare resources for those who need them the most.
Dr. Bach says her department will be clarifying those guidelines to preserve hospital space and equipment. That announcement comes the day after a senior living facility in Franklin sent 7 of its 600 residents to the hospital after they tested positive for COVID-19. They all had mild to no symptoms. But RTV6's Cornelius Hawker learned first responders were prepared for that call.
It was something that we've been planning for, and our plan worked.
That's Michael Pruitt on the response to Otterbein Senior Life Wednesday night after 7 cases of COVID-19 were confirmed at the facility.
Seamlessly got the transfers taken care of to get those individuals out of that facility and into hospitals.
This picture shows one of the patients being loaded into an ambulance. It was a countywide effort with the Franklin and Bargersville Fire Department involved, along with elected officials and the Johnson County Health Department.
Well, I think what's the most frightening thing is this is our most vulnerable population.
Health Department Director Elizabeth Swearingen says the situation that happened at Otterbein is just another reminder we as a community have to do what we can to protect those most at risk during this pandemic.
I hope that everybody takes it seriously and that they do what they can do. And if each and every person does that, hopefully we can shut this down.
We hope that we don't have to do that again. But if we do, we've been planning countywide to get this taken care of.
There haven't been any other residents who've tested positive at Otterbein, but the situation is being monitored closely. And as for the facility, they tell us right now their main priority are the residents themselves, making sure they're safe and letting loved ones know what's going on. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
The state health department says it will be reminding long-term care facilities that residents who test positive can be isolated in the facility rather than sent to the hospital if their symptoms are not severe.
More Central Indiana hospital networks want you to know they welcome donations of medical supplies. Franciscan Health is now accepting handmade face masks and other personal protective equipment. They will be used if current supplies run short. Drop-off bins can be found at the Indianapolis campus on Emerson Avenue and the location in Mooresville. Eskenazi Health is also accepting handmade masks that meet certain criteria. It's also accepting new N95 masks, new isolation gowns, and new goggles. If you are donating less than 500 items, you can drop them off at the hospital in downtown Indianapolis. For more specific details on donating to Eskenazi, Franciscan, Community, or IU Health, go to theindychannel.com.
As the pandemic continues, RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers initiative is covering every aspect of how the outbreak is impacting jobs. The owner of several local restaurants says he's doing everything he can to serve customers and keep his staff on the job. Scott Wolf owns 7 restaurants, including the Wolfie's Change. In Geist, employees are now delivering carry-out orders and sometimes taking on other tasks.
We're trying to do everything we can. If somebody was a cook for us and they were a painter before, we're using them to paint.
I've been in the business for 30 years, never worked for anybody as thoughtful and caring as these owners.
More than 300 people work at Wolf's restaurants. He says so far, only 10 employees have filed for unemployment. If you have lost your job, go to hiringhoosiers.com for information about companies that are hiring now and links to apply. You can also go to theindychannel.com to find a list of restaurants that are still open for business.
Coming up, the latest on the $2 trillion stimulus bill that's moving through Congress, what it means for the economy and you.
And new at 11, families across central Indiana are hunting for bears. How neighborhoods are working together to make memories and get kids out of the house.
Dream Mattress Studio at Value City Furniture.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
The House is set to vote tomorrow on what would be the largest relief package in American history. ABC's Alex Prochet reports the timing is critical as unemployment claims hit record highs today.
All eyes now on the House and its vote tomorrow on a massive $2 trillion COVID-19 relief package. Speaker Nancy Pelosi appearing optimistic.
We will have a victory tomorrow for America's workers. If somebody has a different point of view, they can put it in the record. But we're not worried about that.
Tomorrow's vote, a potential lifeline for American business owners and families now in limbo because of the novel coronavirus.
How am I going to make rent? How, bills, student loans.
Now we're scrambling to figure out how we can pay our bills,
pay the mortgage.
Similar stories heard across the country. Almost 3.3 million filing for unemployment in a week, a number larger than the population of Chicago, a record high. The Trump administration's response?
So the unemployment numbers are very sad but not shocking in that we know a lot of the experts predicted that they would be brutal, and they are.
Some of those experts saying the numbers are even worse than they appear.
They're only using the numbers through March 12th, and as you know, most of the people who have laid off have been since March 12th.
The bill will give those making $75,000 or less $1,200. Married couples who make up to $150,000 would get $2,400 and $500 for each child. Those checks heading out as early as April 6th. But businesses, especially ones dependent on consumer confidence, are hurting too. Today is supposed to be opening day for Major League Baseball, but instead of fans, Dodger Stadium in California has become a storage lot for rental cars due to the lack of demand. President Trump hoping this relief package will help get the economy moving, along with a plan he proposed with governors today to begin to ease social distancing so employees can start going back to work in just a few weeks. But the top doctor on his coronavirus task force had this warning on CNN.
You don't make the timeline. The virus makes the timeline.
Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
Now to the forecast. Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joins us now tracking rain, very spring-like temps, and thunderstorms. Kevin.
How about that? We'll be in the mid-70s on Saturday. That's one of the temperature highlights in the forecast. Lots of clouds, very little rain right now, but I think when we get the day started tomorrow, there'll be some thunderstorms, especially in the southern half of the state. We're at 55 now. It will stay very mild overnight tonight. Very little temperature change. Watch our rainfall through the day tomorrow stay rather high. Periods of thunderstorms potentially through the day. Anytime it rains, that rainfall may be heavy. The marginal risk or low risk for severe storms comes with a hail threat. That's primarily the threat tomorrow. Then as we get to Saturday, may add some damaging wind potential. As you look at the Friday planner, temperatures back into the low 60s. We'll have a round of thunderstorms in the morning. The potential still lingers through the afternoon. 5 a.m., not a lot happening. By 7 a.m., we inherit some thunderstorms from Illinois, south of the Terre Haute to Indy line. Some of these may have heavy rainfall and hail potential. At 10 a.m., still some ongoing rain. Then we see a lull through the afternoon and evening, and it's Friday night into Saturday morning that I think we'll see the next round of showers and thunderstorms. Temperature hits 74 Saturday, periods of thunderstorms. Much cooler but dry on Sunday. Temperature Saturday from the upper 60s to nearly the mid 70s. That will be the fuel for some thunderstorms. Slight risk of few severe storms in the western half of the state. Marginal or low risk in the eastern portion of Indiana. 7 a.m. Saturday, ongoing thunderstorms Lafayette to Muncie north. Some of that will contain heavy rainfall. We wait in the afternoon as we heat things up. This line here could be strong between 7 and 11. You'll see the expansion of the coverage of the showers and thunderstorms. Then as we go overnight, that will move out and cooler temperatures will move in. May see 1 inch to 2 inches of rain before this ends late Saturday night. Sunday, we'll have wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour as that colder air comes into central Indiana. Temperatures will be right at 60 degrees. We talked about a lot. Here's the recap. Tomorrow, some showers, thunderstorms in the morning. Then I think a break. More thunderstorms late Friday into Saturday morning. Then one more round, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday is dry. We'll need that dry weather. It'll continue into Monday. Next week, temperatures 50 or above each day of the week. Amanda?
Thank you, Kevin. RTV6 is highlighting the ways neighbors are helping each other get through a difficult time, and that includes a trend popping up in windows across the country and right here in Indy. We know the elf on the shelf will now meet the bear in the window.
Little feet are on the prowl, wandering down their street in search of a growl.
Let's go look at Adeline's house.
These 4-year-old twin brothers are on the hunt, with their mom Gwen leading them in front.
You see some more?
The two are creeping to see.
Are you ready?
The homes next door. For Harrison and Edison, with some imagination, these teddy bears have some magic in store.
It's about time for bears to be coming out of hibernation anyways, and now they're popping up in windows all across neighborhoods everywhere.
But do not fret, these creatures are only here to gaze and to bring a sense of wonder from the woods, not to scare.
Who would have thought we'd go for a bear hunt on a weekday afternoon? That's not our normal routine. Gosh, look at all the bears!
The Chastains are, like most families, adapting to a new normal for now.
Do you see some in the windows?
And this mom caught on to a trend that social distancing will allow.
So I thought, let's try it. We texted about 20 of our neighbors and we said, hey, would you guys jump on board and put teddy bears or pictures of bears in your windows for the kids in the neighborhood to walk around and go on a bear hunt? And they said, absolutely.
In this Indy Old North Side neighborhood, these teddy bears are on watch.
Please don't feed the bears.
We already did.
As we all work together to make it through this unprecedented March.
This morning they woke up and they were ready to go. They wanted to go find those bears and have some fun, which as a mom, it makes it kind of light and nice right now, especially kind of in this stressful time. To see your kids smile, to see them get excited, to see neighbors get into it, so that has boosted morale as well.
Look, there's some in the window. Do you see them?
A little gesture with just a toy.
We're going to go for a bear hunt.
Is going a long way to spread some joy.
Are you ready?
So great to see, and we love seeing when neighbors band together to help out everybody, especially in this time of need. We want to hear more stories of Hoosiers working together to get through this tough time. Tell us about any positive efforts going on in your community by emailing us at workingforyou@rtv6.com. Now, here's a look at some of the stories you've already shared with RTV6.
In the midst of the public health crisis, we've watched people all across the city reach out to their neighbors.
It's the little bits, that can sometimes make things, a little bit better.
In Zionsville, the owners of Bites Coffee and Dessert Bar are giving first responders and medical personnel free coffee, breakfast, and treats through the end of April. It's their way of supporting those who are keeping the community going. As long as the store is allowed to do carryout and delivery, they will give any active police officer, firefighter, nurse, or doctor free coffee and treats.
It's the right thing to do, and it's a very, very small thing. I was laying in bed the other night, and I thought, you know what? Let's just have a little statement to everyone that says we're not going to evict anybody in a time of crisis.
So far, he says his tenants who can pay are planning to. The offer, a 60-day eviction-free window, only applies to those in need.
It's scary for property owners, too. We have utilities and mortgages that are coming due, but you know what? We're all going to have to sacrifice a little bit, and this is just... This is a very small thing for us to do.
Awesome. Call, click, or visit a store today.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
While people across the U.S. are under orders to stay home during the coronavirus outbreak, some Americans are just trying to get back home. Scripps reporter Annie Taylor talked to a Colorado man who left to climb mountains in Peru 2 weeks ago.
So I came to Peru on the 13th of March to hike through the mountains and go to Machu Picchu.
Husband and father Chris Apple left his home state of Colorado for Peru before the coronavirus quarantine had started, and now can't get back to America.
We're being told we can't get back into the U.S. because the borders of Peru have been closed, and so there's no travel between the regions.
Meanwhile, over 4,000 miles away, his wife and son are forced to wait.
We all have our moments of sad and worried, and I have to hide all that because I don't want my son to see it. I want him to feel safe. Sorry.
Every day, Jody is working with local officials, even her U.S. senator, desperately trying to get her husband home.
I'm reaching out to Senator Bennett's office as much as possible. We're reaching out to as many sources as we can.
Both Jody and Chris are trying not to lose hope.
It's really hard not being with my family at this time. It's certainly creating anxiety for me not being able to be there with my family going through this.
Chris says he needs transportation to the nearest airport, but roads are blocked.
So it's going to take the U.S. government to make that arrangement to get them to the airport.
But the question is, when will that happen?
I have faith that he will make it home. I just don't know when.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
A senior State Department official tells ABC News the department has repatriated 9,300 Americans from 28 countries as of Wednesday, but there are still at least 50,000 citizens still stranded tonight. RTV6 News at 11 continues right after this.
How can we help you?
Once again, there were a lot of new developments today regarding the coronavirus, the fight to contain it, and the impact on the economy and daily life. You can find everything you need to know anytime on our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus.
I'm showing you some thunderstorms and rain developing in Kansas and Missouri because what happens there over the next several hours will arrive here during the morning hours tomorrow. Friday forecast, temperatures in the 50s in the morning, some showers and thunderstorms. Periods of rain late in the day as well. Amanda?
Well, thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. GMI starts at 4:30 a.m. Good night.